Hello, fellow creator. So as I've shared, I recently took up the Celtic harp, and I want to talk to you tonight about heeding the call when we hear the call to take up something new in our lives, meeting that and responding to that, and how that call is actually about more than just you, because this is something that I've realized over these last few months. I want to share a little more about the story. So when I started first playing the harp, it seemed like a pretty nonsensical idea, to be not honest. If I thought about it, I had multiple teaching jobs that I was working. I was raising 2 small children. My life was so full. The idea of taking up a new instrument, it seemed pretty crazy. And yet I felt this urge so strongly that I wasn't even thinking about the decisions I was making. I just saw the tiny harp I shared about in my other video, and then suddenly I was going out and I was buying a harp, and the harp that I had wanted was just there, and it was used at a local store in town, and all these synchronicities happened, and suddenly then I was buying an even bigger harp, and again, just not even thinking about it. And I joined a support group on Facebook for other people who were learning the harp, a lot of harp nerds like me. And the moderator commented at one point that there was a huge upsurge recently in the number of ad requests that they were getting, that they had never seen anything like this many people starting the harp at one time. And then something else funny happened. A few days after that, I got a message from the mother of one of my former students, and she was sharing with me, this was a student that I had taught guitar and singing, and we'd worked on songwriting together, a very beloved student of mine. And her mother was saying, you know, I don't know if you would have any recommendations about this or why you would, but do you know any harp teachers in New York? It's just really funny. She just keeps talking about wanting to play the harp all of a sudden. And when she shared this with me, I was astonished because I hadn't told anyone about what I was doing at that point. It was this secret thing that I was that I was exploring. But there was my former student across the country also being drawn to the harp. And that was when I realized that it was about so much more than me, that, well, I had this feeling that the world was actually calling the harp. And this call had gone out, and all these people who were attuned in certain ways, for whatever reason, were hearing the call, and we all were going out and getting harps and learning to play the harp. It really, really blew my mind, I have to say. And I thought, well, of course the world would be calling the harp right now, in this incredible time that we are living in, when so much hangs in the balance and so much healing is needed, that the universe would just call for this healing instrument to make a great resurgence and be taken up by so many people. And realizing that, just, I felt like it gave me permission to surrender to a new level, and to really embrace learning to play with more love and more devotion, more commitment. And that's been a really fun journey. But I want to say all this to you because if the world is calling the harp, I'm sure there are a lot of other things that it's calling as well. And I'm curious to know what are you feeling called by these days? And if you are feeling drawn to take up any instruments, I just hope that you pursue that, because it is such a beautiful experience to feel a call and to heed it. When we say yes in that way, it's amazing what else begins to open up in our lives. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with more Candlelight sharing.